What's up, guys? It's Nicole, the Barbell Bombshell. We have Dr. Maggio in the house. I was talking to him earlier about neck issues because he actually treated my neck the other day. I've been having a lot of pinching when I'm tipping my head back, and I can feel there's kind of like a limitation, and it kind of gets like stuck. So I was talking to him about what an epidemic it is lately, and I think part of the reason is we're looking down so much.
I would definitely agree with that. Just go to the airport or just look at anyone. They're like this. We don't know how to communicate as human beings except through looking down on our phones. And it's amazing how people can get into these positions. We were talking the other day, and you said, you know, you're watching people at the grocery store and their kids are walking behind them with their phone straight down. We don't realize the ramifications of what's going on, and it comes into two processes. There's just the addictive nature of it. Like, we always got to check our phones. We want to be on social media. We want to do all that. But the other thing too is we don't realize how much force we're putting into the neck. And you're not gonna see these problems for a long time down the road, but you're gonna be totally screwed and have a lot of disc problems and neck problems that could have been prevented if you would have just taken the time to get off your damn phone.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm even like with my son, he's 5, and you know, he wants to be on my phone or on his like Leapfrog. And I was watching him the other day, and I'm noticing he is looking down way too often. That, I think, with like homework, schoolwork, I mean, even if you don't have like your monitor adjusted correctly at work, you know, you're cranked down constantly. And then, I mean, even like we've switched to no pillows at all, and I just don't like a rolled up towel underneath my neck, because I just think over time, from being like cranked up, I've just been getting a lot of stuff in the back of my neck. And I've sent a lot of some of my clients who are females that suffer from migraines to you, and you've helped them a lot. And you know, they've all been told, oh, it's hormonal, or you know.
We live in a society, in a medical world, where everything we want to pill for it, or there has to be, it's got to be some crazy complex diagnosis. Your diagnosis doesn't have to be complex, but it has to be correct.
Right.
So this is what's going on. So we have these really tiny muscles at the base of our skull. They're called your suboccipitals, but basically what they do is they allow the top of your skull bone to glide on the top of your spine.
Okay.
What happens is when we look down, even just a little bit, say 1 degree, we put those muscles in a state of constant contraction.
Right. Okay.
So imagine if you walked around and flexed your bicep for 10 hours straight.
Right.
How tired that would be by the end of the day.
Yeah.
This is what's going on in your muscles in your neck. When they're held under contraction all day long, they don't get enough blood and they don't get enough oxygen. So the body panics and thinks there's an injury there, so it starts laying down what I call adhesion. Adhesion is also known as scar tissue. It's like glue that gets inside the muscle. Adhesion causes decreased flexibility, it also causes weakness, and it also causes a ton of pain.
Right.
So now what happens is when we look down all day, these muscles just get beat to hell.
Right.
So with migraines and everything like that, there's a lot of blood vessels and nerves in there, and they get contracted by that scar tissue too, can trigger migraines. But what really happens with people is, in a normal world, if these muscles are short and have a lot of adhesion, your head would want to kind of go like this. But you can't walk around like this all day, you'll look like a jackass.
Yeah.
So what your body does is it overcompensates and puts you forward like that. What it does is it puts a ton of pressure and pain down here in the muscles in the neck. So what do people do? They get in there with a lacrosse ball.
Right.
They go and get a deep tissue massage, or they get their upper traps are tight, or they have some what people call upper cross syndrome, which is complete nonsense anyway. So people focus on where it hurts, but the problem is really coming from up top.
Right.
And we get so fixated on it hurts here, and they, you know, people will go and get a deep tissue massage for 2 hours and hammer away on that, and then 2 days later they're right back because we never got to the true cause of the problem.
Okay. Yeah, and I think, you know, especially with being that we have CrossFit gym, and you know, CrossFit's just naturally a lot of overhead stuff. So when your neck isn't moving correctly, or you're not able to go through, or you're not going through the full range of motion every day, I mean, what happens to your shoulders and your traps? Like, I see a lot of people, you know, they get neck stiffness, and they get that closed angle here because I think they're just doing so much overhead.
So what happens is a lot of people just don't have great movement in their shoulders anyway, but your body's very short-term focused. It goes, hey, I got to put this heavy-ass weight over my head. It goes, well, we can't get it from the shoulder, so let's use the neck. So the body starts to use the neck, but what people don't understand is every force that goes up must come down. So that it's not the force going up, it's when you come back down with it, it puts a ton of compression on these things in your spine called your disc. And all your disc really wants to do is handle a little bit of compressive force. but every time you slam back down or you look forward, it's like you're taking like a 60-pound weight and just jam it on top of your head.
Right.
And bam, bam, bam. And your body can take a lot of crap and insult, but one day that disc just blows on you and then you're in a whole different world of pain that you don't want to deal with.
Okay. So something like handstand push-ups, you know, I mean, people, they're traps. It's always traps. But do you think a lot of it comes from?
Well, we saw it last year. I remember in the open, there was a real heavy shoulder and handstand push-ups in one of the workouts. I don't remember which one.
Yeah, it was a power.
But the next week, I had more people coming in with neck problems than I've ever seen. Because what happens is people just don't have the basic mechanics or function in the shoulder. They can't even take their shoulder through a basic range of motion, but then they think it'd be a good idea to add your body weight to it or stuff like that. So my thing is, we always talk about is respecting your limitations. If you can't do basic human movement, you shouldn't want to put more over that. You need to work up and build up to that. If not, you're going to bleed force from somewhere else. I stole that from Dr. Moses, but you're going to bleed force from somewhere else because it's going to go somewhere, and what happens is it goes to your neck. And once your neck breaks down or you get disc issues, there's no coming back from that. Those don't heal. They don't get any better. You can just hope that they don't get any worse. And if it gets really bad enough, and I'm trying not to scare people, but if you have to have neck surgery, you know what they do? They put you on your back. They go through the front of your neck. They pull your esophagus and your throat and all your blood vessels off to the side, and they go in and do that. So if that's something that you think is like fun for you, keep doing all the stuff you're doing. But basically, people are just beating the hell out of their necks, and it's becoming an epidemic. And treatment and getting actual good work up in these muscles is what I'm saying is going to be the same as going to the dentist every 6 months and getting cleaned up, because it's going to get worse, and it's going to and people don't realize the ramifications of what they're doing. I myself have a pretty nasty disc injury from football, and I'll tell you what, I would give anything to not have that pain and discomfort that I have. So whatever I can do to help people get educated and better understand that this needs to be treated. And it doesn't just need to be treated by just a basic massage. You need to get to someone that specializes in getting in there and breaking the adhesion down.
Up in here,
it's
not
up
your
high,
traps.
and it's not your traps. It's never your traps. Your traps they really don't do a whole lot, and they just look good when you overdevelop them. But you gotta, and the other thing, and one recommendation I give people, and I've been doing it myself, and we talked about it, was just when you get home at night, just take your phone and put it in your room. You know, like we were joking earlier, you know, it's political season, and we were talking about, so you go on your phone, you sit there for an hour at home, and you go through and you're like, I hate Donald Trump, I hate Hillary Clinton, whatever, whoever you hate. And then you're all pissed off after you're done, and then you hurt your neck too. So do us a favor and just go put your phone in the room and just look up and be normal. It's going to save you a lot of time, because it's that repeated, sustained contraction that's going to beat the hell out of your discs.
So looking down, I mean, and I think it's just modern lifestyle. We just need to be more aware of it. Like it's so routine to just be here all the time. We don't think about that as loading that disc and loading those muscles all day long. So, you know, rep after rep, day after day, you know, there may not be like an actual trauma to the neck, but one day those tissues will have enough.
Patients always come into me and they want to fixate on the event. They're like, oh, I twisted and, you know, did this. I'm never going to twist again. It's like, no, it's not that. It's just that repeated, sustained contraction. I always say it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. And one day your body has enough of your shit and just goes, and you get that pain and you're having, and that pain won't go away for a long time if you keep doing all the stupid things you're doing.
So when you're on your phone, and we kind of look creepy when we do it because we're like this and we look like we're filming everyone, but I mean, I'm being aware and conscious of not trying to crank down because I am on my phone. You know, it's just what it is. So I'm trying to keep it upright and to keep good posture.
And even when you're like lying in bed at night, like just hold it up there, because you're keeping neutral. And one really good test for yourself to see if you're having headaches and neck discomfort, try a test for yourself where you kind of stand up against the wall and tuck your chin back and keep it in contact with the wall. You should have that like really ugly quadruple chin. If you can't move that back and you see your traps go up, the chances are that you got a lot of dysfunction in there. And get it fixed before it becomes a big problem. People always want to be cheap and don't want to spend money on their bodies, but it's the best investment you can make, getting that tissue cleaned up, because it's going to be a big problem down the road that you don't want to have.
Yeah, definitely. And we're seeing this in, I mean, I see, you know, younger kids in and out of your practice all the time, like 13, 14, 15 years old, because they're on their phones, on electronics. You know, they have no breaks at school anymore. So they're constantly looking down at their desk reading. They don't get to go around and play. And, you know, kids are not nearly as active as they need to be.
No, and it's becoming an epidemic, and there's a lot of things, but if we can prevent one thing, is like, you know, honestly, I understand it's stressful, and I don't have kids myself, I know you do, but I know it's stressful to have to deal with a kid, and sometimes it's easier just to hand them a phone.
Yeah, right.
But what you're doing is you're setting them up for a lifetime of pain that you don't even realize. Because I'm seeing kids that are 17, 18 years old with disc injuries that you see in like a 60 or 70-year-old man.
Yeah.
And that's never the same. Once that gets bad, that kid is never going to be the same. So I know you might be the bad guy in the short term, but your kids are going to love you a lot more long term because they're not going to be in pain.
Yeah, and I think these parents are having a hard time coming to terms with it because there's not like a trauma, or there wasn't like any big event that was like, oh, my neck. It's just rep after rep, day after day. All of a sudden,
things break down.
Yeah, it starts breaking down. Okay, so the moral of the story is, don't be a dick and look down on your phone all day. Look up. Put your phone away when you get home. Engage with people when you're, you know, at dinner and social hour. Like, put your phone down. It's okay. You don't need to film every moment.
And communicate like a normal human with words and not text.
Eat dinner with each other.
You know, basically, I just tell people, just get off your damn phone.
Yeah.
You know, I understand there's a lot that's on there. We can get distracted, but there's actually consequences to these things that people don't realize because we're just not informed as a society.
We don't feel it now.
We don't feel it now, but trust me, you're going to feel it later.